Hello and welcome to this blue sky reading. This is for the week of June 9th of 2019. So in terms of numerology this week, when we add up all the digits of 6/9/2019, that is a 9 energy. And that is the top, the very top of the numerological scale. So that tells me that there is a culmination of sorts. And this is mixed in with our Sabian symbol for the week, which is Virgo 19. So 1 plus 9 would be 10, and in numerology that reduces to 1. So we have both a 9 energy and a 1 energy. And 1 is about a new level of leadership, of rebirth, of new beginnings. So in essence, there is this sense of a death and a rebirth, And we don't need to bring any fear to that. It simply is like the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. And I do feel this is in preparation for the upcoming summer solstice on the 21st, which is always a big event energetically. It is when the light is at its highest, and then we slowly go down into more of the dark. And those of you who have been listening to me for a while, know that I'm not big on fear, and I'm not big on the dark being labeled as bad. We simply go more within when we're talking about the dark. It's the difference between the sun, which is the height of what summer solstice really represents, is our masculine energy being at its very highest point, and then slipping more towards the moon, the feminine energy, and having an ability to go within and gather wisdom that brings deeper meaning, and where we get to reflect. So both are necessary. So I feel this real shift here. And the Sabian symbol for Virgo 19, and Virgo is an earth sign, and it is highly perfecting. So we're kind of taking care of the details this week in a certain way. Virgo 19 reads very simply, a swimming race. And as soon as I saw this symbol, what I thought of is swimmers in lanes, that type of swimming race where, they have to go back and forth on their laps, and there's certain strokes that are used for different types of races. And I got a clear message of stay in your lane and use the water to your advantage. So it's really looking at, for yourself this week, are you using the energy around you as something that propels you, or are you viewing it as something that holds you back? This is the difference between seeing the potential of a new start, or of being at that 9 level where you've been through all of a cycle and there's almost a sense of exhaustion involved. And it's all in your perspective. Because a swimming race just as with any competitive event, you have certain days when you're just really on your game, so to speak, and you see that water as helping to propel you. You literally visualize it flowing over your body with ease. And you can do that same thing with energy. Before you even get out of bed in the morning, you can say, the energies around me, the energy within my auric field is going to propel me through my day. And it's going to repel anything that does not take me to my desired destination, much like the swimmer in the pool. So this week I call it Pick a Planet. This is going to be, I think, an ongoing thing, and each one will have a card with it. For those of you that love card readings, that will still be a part of this, but I'm feeling more called to work with the astrology piece. So I looked at this, the placements of the planets. Yesterday when I put up my Facebook post, I took note of where those placements were, and that's what the information that I'm going off from for the reading. So first of all, those of you that picked Uranus at the beginning of the video, that was the very first symbol. And it looks a bit like like a circle with kind of antennae on the top. And this is kind of how Uranus works. It's a planet that it's an energy that we all have available to us that really tunes into vibration. It tunes into what's going on in the environment, and there is often a big sense of change involved when we talk about Uranus. And quick change. It's very fast paced, and it's always in our best interest. It may not always be to our liking or how we envisioned change happening, but it is necessary change. It's kind of like, rolling over the soil so that you can replant again. And again, there's that message of the 9 and the 1 energy. Like, okay, maybe we're turning over the soil so that we can start anew in some way and plant some new seeds. But Uranus is always the basic message is it invites change that is for our benefit. So where Uranus was in the sky when I tapped into this energy for this week's reading was at Taurus 6. Now, 6 energy is about being a caregiver. It's about being nurturing and compassionate. And I always tell people 6, if you can envision the number 6, it's like a pregnant mama with her hands under her belly. And it's knowing that you're sturdy and stable even through change. And Uranus right now is making a 7-year transit through the sign of Taurus. We're all going to get shaken up on what we look to for our safety and our security and what we view as beautiful. Those things all may change for the better. It's for the better. You're ready for something new. So Taurus here reads cantilever bridge across a deep gorge. So this to me also speaks of a new beginning. I sense that there is a new, more compassionate, and it's self-compassion, I feel, that you're crossing over into a new area. But remember the message of this week. Stay in your lane and stay focused. You've reached the bridge, and you're ready to start walking over it. And for those of you that are height averse, such as myself, the bridge goes over a deep gorge. So again, it's your choice if you choose to look down. And the way I relate this to what I'm sensing here is whatever new start that is more compassionate towards yourself, more forgiving, more nurturing. Think about the role of a mother. Whatever brings more of that energy to you. You have to take a look at, am I giving up all of these things? Are you looking at the downside of making those changes, or are you considering that I'm crossing over into, this is a whole new pathway for me. And it's going to affect your energy. Whatever it is that you can do to bring this more compassionate and nurturing energy to yourself. But it feels like it's really almost a leap of faith, in that you have a hard time like letting go of, but that's who I've been. So I think about an aspect of myself that I'm actively working on to give you as an example of this. It's being very perfectionist in nature and really wanting to think through so completely, whether it's a job or a project or my approach on something, that I often get stuck in those details and trying to make it so perfect that I never get it off the ground. Okay, and so am I losing the quality? This is like when you're passing over the deep gorge. Are you looking down at all like, but I'm not going to have the quality that I want? Or are you thinking, yeah, I'm looking ahead and saying, but yeah, I get things off the ground faster. And then I trust that the universe is going to provide me with the input or the energy that I need to help build that project out in the best way possible. Because energies, again, we're talking Uranus for you. Energy is always changing. And so we need to become more nimble with change and allow energies to play themselves out instead of saying, okay, I've figured it all out from the beginning, and this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 400, that we're so driven to do things in a certain way, in a certain order. That's what Uranus, that's the very thing that Uranus is shaking up in its move through Taurus over the next 7 years. We really aren't going to be in a place anymore to reliably count on step 1, 2, 3, and to move forward at a very slow and methodical speed, and where it's all like very regimented, which Taurus energy can be, and that's very valuable energy. But Uranus on purpose is changing that. So I feel like this message is trying to get you ready for that. You're taking your first steps into really thinking about, okay, do I have to have it all figured out? Do I have to have the plan completely in place? Okay, or can I start with an idea and then move on from there? Can I trust that the energy is going to show up to help guide me in the direction that's to my liking, that's where I want to go? And your card, all the cards this week are from the Animal Medicine deck, and your card is the Eagle. So this speaks to the one energy I talked about in the intro that's about a new beginning. It's about a leadership. Again, you're crossing this cantilever bridge across a deep gorge. But the point is, where are you going? Just like the swimmer, a swimming race is our symbol for the week. The swimmer is thinking about, okay, there's the end point, and I just got to keep going with that end point in mind, and seeing the water, seeing the energy around you as helpful. Now, in the Animal Medicine deck, the Eagle speaks to spirit. And I did do some dowsing ahead for each one of these selections. And this is the portion that wanted to be read from you from the deck, which I want to properly give credit to. I think it's Jamie Sams and David Carson are the keepers, or the creators, I should say, of this deck. And this is the particular portion that wanted to be read for you, this very short little paragraph. Eagle medicine is a gift we give ourselves to remind us of the freedom of the skies. Eagle asks you to give yourself permission to legalize freedom and to follow the joy your heart desires. So, freedom message for you, and allowing your spirit to have a role in your steps forward. Okay, if you're making a new start in some area of your life, completely trust that the energy is going to show up to help guide you instead of you having to lock it all down. Because remember, we've got a Virgo symbol for this week, and you've kind of got a double Earth, because the Uranus symbol for you is Taurus. They're both Earth, and so there's a crossover when it comes to how locked down and how planned we are about everything. The call for you that Uranus is calling you towards is that of the Eagle, and the word freedom is the key word for you this week. Really allow yourself to kind of break out of the bounds that you may keep around yourself. We do this simply to allow more structure and stability for ourselves, and that's all well-meaning. But there is change in the skies, and you're called to it by picking the planet Uranus for this week. Okay. All right. So those of you that picked the second planet, it was Mercury, and this looks like really the planet Venus, a circle and a cross on the bottom, and then a little hat is what I like to think on the top. Mercury is the planet of communication and cognition and learning. So it's both how we communicate, it's how we listen, it's how we cognize, not only in our learning through school, but our continued learning throughout life. It's kind of like the processor in a computer. That's the role of Mercury. And Mercury moves the fastest. It moves very, very quickly throughout the skies. So, yeah, there's a sense of speed here for you this week. And where Mercury was when I tapped in for this reading was at Cancer 7. So you have a mix. Again, our Sabian symbol for all of us this week is Virgo 19, a swimming race, which is an earth sign, Virgo, very perfecting. And your sign with Mercury is Cancer, which is a water sign. So there's a mix of earth and very perfecting kind of nature of our daily schedules with the emotional and with the intuitive and with the caring. Cancer is the mother, really, of the zodiac, ruled by the moon. And so you have a blend of these two coming towards you this week. And it's Cancer 7. And in numerology, 7 is that of being the truth seeker and of having an opportunity to see a new truth here this week around how you can be more nurturing towards yourself and towards your view of others. And particularly if you have perfectionist tendencies or you're very structured about your daily schedule, I just feel this softening for all of us this week around that. And that offers a brand new insight, a brand new ability. And with Mercury, this is in how you think about the situations you find yourself in and trying to have a little more compassion and just... The word I feel for you is softness, having a little more softness when you look upon your world, and not trying to be quite as structured and quite as very, very tightly defining everything. Allow a little bit more coziness in how you look about your world. So Cancer 7 reads as follows. So this is your symbol, combined with a swimming race, which is for all of us this week. Two nature spirits dancing under the moonlight. So there's a real sense here of kind of a magical energy for you. And the moon is represented here. And that, as I said, the moon rules Cancer. And so, and there's a 2 energy coming up with the 2 nature spirits. So it's really you in combination with another person is what I'm feeling. And you beginning to look a little bit more lightly, a little bit more softly. I almost see like your vision potentially changing. And again, think about what the power of intention. Just like in a swimming race, the swimmer has the intention. The water is going to help propel me. It is not going to hold me back. Our vision is much the same. Our literal vision and our cognition as to how we think about the people and the situations around us. Are you viewing them in a very tightly defined way, and where people can never, ever be outside of how you have cast them, you know, like roles within a play, and even towards yourself, because Cancer is also very self-nurturing and loves a coziness for self. And so can it be that you could offer a softer vision of you too? And again, there's a real sense that I get of being able to bring a little magic into this situation. But I do feel it's specifically with another as well. You know, another in your life that you have maybe kind of, forgive this expression, you've kind of screwed them down. And what I see is like, they're kind of strapped down. That's probably a better phrase. They're strapped down into a particular role that they play in your life, and that there's more available to you than that. There's more available, I think. So the card for you this week is the Weasel, which is interesting. So this is all, I give credit here to Jamie Sams and David Carson, who who authored this deck, and the weasel is the number 33, and that is an angelic master number. So there's a real angelic, and it goes with those nature spirit energy. It's otherworldly energy that's trying to help you out here. And specific to the stealth energy, there was a certain portion I dowsed ahead of time, and this particular paragraph wanted to come through for you. Look to weasel power to tell you the hidden reasons behind anything. Some people are put off by weasel medicine, talent, and abilities, but there are no bad medicines. We all have power, or we would not be here to heal Mother Earth. Perhaps if you have weasel power, you could use your secret gifts for the good of all. Observe who or what needs attention or a solution, and offer your assistance in your own quiet and discreet way. And that quiet and discreet is very Cancerian in nature. It's a very kind of... The Cancer energy can come forward when it needs to, but there's almost more of a comfort with Cancer of kind of stepping back and being in its comfort zone. Again, think fluffy pillows and fuzzy blankets. Comfort and nurturing is very important to Cancer. But the reason I was feeling the energy of the other, and boy, you've got a bird that wants in. Any of you bird folk out there who know these calls, I do not, but this bird showed up for you. It only started during your reading. I felt the energy of the other, and it's this particular line. Observe who or what needs your attention or solution, and offer your assistance in your own quiet or discreet way. And it's this two nature spirits dancing under the moonlight. People, we need each other, you know, and I feel like part of when I said the message about staying in your lane and seeing the water as propelling you from a swimming race. I know I'm blending a lot of symbols here, but Mercury wants to encourage you to consider how you can use your listening and your perceptive ability to seek out when people need a listening ear, when they need a shoulder. I think we're moving out of a time where it's all about talk, you know, where it's all about outward bound. And I think we're moving into more of a balanced place. And at first, it's going to be more of a way pullback, which Cancer loves, of really of absorbing, of taking in what's around you and absorbing. I think as a collective, humanity overall is going to move more into that space of taking a moment to pause and consider before we react or before we assign a value or a meaning to something. And I feel like that's part of your power this week, is to recognize when are you, are there times where you are just going ahead and you're you know, you're talking and you're assigning meaning. And Mercury loves to do that because Mercury is a fast mover. And in order to move through our day, we quickly compartmentalize things and assign meaning. And is this an opportunity this week? You know, like the swimmer working within the pool and is largely underwater for a good portion of that time. You know, is this an opportunity to kind of use the unseen forces of kind of looking about and and taking information in? Because what I feel is that you're going to sense, and it's either going to be through your vision or through your hearing. It's through your sensory system. You know, the 5 human senses that you're going to be able to do. The doing is you're going to be able to then employ that sensory system, but the first step has got to be sort of the use of the other senses that we don't consciously think about. which is stepping back and allowing ourselves to see the broader picture of what's happening and to sense into, like, just notice how much body language you see when you're in a meeting at work, or you're trying to have a conversation with somebody and clearly they've got something on their mind and they're not verbalizing it, and you don't have to bring that up. There can be support that is given telepathically. You don't even have to say anything. And now I just had a robin come over here. There is this nature spirits is very strong for you this week. Wow. That bird came very, very close here. There's just so much. The dog is barking over there. Like, there's lots of things that want to get your attention this week. It's very powerful. So open up your perception system, like perceiving, taking in. Become the sponge this week, because lots wants to get your attention. And it will help to keep you in your lane, as I talked about with the swimming race. It's worth it because it's going to propel you. This is going to be the water that floats over you, that helps to propel you forward. Because I kind of see a break happening from, I got to do, and I've got a plan, and this is my steps, and I'm going to do them, and that's it. And we kind of turn literally a blind eye through our senses, all of our senses. We turn a blind eye to all of that, and we're missing a lot. There's some like very magical stuff that's available to you. The birds are flying incredibly close to me. This is only for your reading. Okay, so keep your eyes and your senses open this week. I feel like magic is afoot for you. Beautiful. All right. And our final card is, or planet rather, is from Mars. And this was a circle with an arrow pointing out. Mars is the masculine principle. I call it the strong arm of the zodiac. It is the engine that we just get it going. I think about the song Start Me Up from the Rolling Stones when I think about Mars. It's very just like pushing on forward, and if you get in my way, I will steamroller over you to make it happen. Okay, so Mars, when I tapped in for this reading, was at the point that is Cancer 16 in the Sabian symbol set. So 1 + 6 is 7. This is about a new awareness coming on board. And again, we've got the swimming race. A swimming race is the symbol for all of us, which is a Virgo symbol. And so here's how Cancer 16 reads. A man studying a mandala in front of him with the help of a very ancient book. A new awareness coming from inner wisdom. And this is inner wisdom from most definitely past lives for you. And it is a new vision of how to use masculine energy. Because this wisdom is coming through a deeper perception. It's like, and this particular symbol has direct connections to astrology. And so those of you who are, if you know some things about astrology, you might want to be taking a look at your chart this week. All I can say is when I work with astrology, and there's something in this for you, okay? Because if you want to learn anything new, there is the traditional way, which, when I say traditional, there is a very strong masculine component to what we call traditional. Okay, and those structures are actively shifting right now on the planet overall. So when I say traditional, if you want to learn something new, you either go to school, you read a book, you take a class, you go meet with somebody and you learn everything they've got to teach you. Those are very traditional. It's learning through a mechanism. And where I think what's calling to you is, remember, you've got 7 energy this week. And this is about shifting, and it's Cancer. And Cancer is a perception, a perceiving energy. Cancer is the crab that in the zodiac, and it perceives when it is safe enough for it to crawl out and to get what it needs, and then it goes back and it hides, and it's an energy that's known as the hermit. And thus we have the hermit crab that carries around its shell and can just plunk down, and there's home right there. You know, it can protect itself very easily, but it does hide away, and that hermit energy in the tarot is connected to gathering wisdom, which ties back to your symbol about this man studying a mandala and accessing a very ancient book. So I think the call for you this week, what Mars is trying to say, is to contemplate that there are other ways to break into something new. There are other ways, there's a new truth around learning something new, studying something new, revealing deeper wisdom. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and believe me, I'm learning. But there's reasons why my path has shaped up like it has, and that here I am sitting here for this week of June 9th, ready to say this to you now, okay? And I'm still learning as I go. I'm not professing in any way to be a master around this. But when I have just opened up my intuition to lead me as to what feels right to me, I learned Reiki, and I went through Reiki 1, 2, 3, got my Reiki master, went on to do Karuna Reiki and some other energy healing type classes. And it was only when I went to work, I felt compelled to go and work with horses. And it was the horses, once I opened up my intuition, which your symbol is Cancer. Your intuition is very powerful this week because you have Mars and Cancer together. And they are not kissing cousins, believe me. Mars doesn't really like Cancer because Cancer's a little bit like, I don't really want to, I got to wait for the time to be right. And Mars is like, let's go. So there's a rub for you this week in that back to my story, I'm skipping around a lot. When I allow my intuition, my own Cancerian nature, which is very strong in my chart, when I allowed it to open up, and I went and I felt compelled to go work with horses, it made no sense, but I did it, and I got myself in those stalls and what have you. It was the horses that said to me, and this is nothing against Reiki, I have supreme respect for that energy healing system. But the horses said to me, for me, as an energy channel, they said exactly that. You are a channel for us. Do not put all those symbols on us. It feels like a wet, dirty blanket. It is somebody else's system, and you are not meant to work with energy like that, at least when you're working with us. And the results that I got in terms of the energy healing, when I got to see that I don't need to direct the energy through the use of symbols, that I was simply a channel, and I let the energy flow through me, and I let them use my dowsing rods to just point to what they needed. They took care of it in far less time, far more efficiently, far more effectively. And my communication with them stepped up at least tenfold when I did that. And then, so that's one example of learning something as a breakthrough, as a doorway that then leads you into something more. It leads you forward when you allow yourself to feel into, to allow intuition to have a role in helping you to get where you need to go, which is very unique. So it's the two, it's the traditional that Mars is speaking to you saying, okay, yes, you can learn from the very ancient book. But the other example I have for you directly related to your symbol for this week is when I learned astrology. I took a basic class that I paid I feel way too much money for that class, but I learned the basics about what the houses meant and what the signs meant and what the planets meant. And I took that like level 1 class. And then I read a book from an astrologer that I really respect. And I watched, I kind of regularly watch certain astrologers on and off. And I would notice when something in me would come up and I would question, like, I don't agree with that about retrograde planets. It's allowing yourself to question, okay? That's where you can use the power of Mars and Cancer together this week. And remember, this is the opening of something big and new for you. And it can be in the way that you choose to move forward. And so I never went forward with any more schooling than that, traditional learning. Classes, I could have gone on to 2 other levels of this particular learning system that I had taken level 1 of. But I just was like, it's like I don't resonate with the whole aspects thing in astrology. And I actually feel like oppositions are your superpowers, and so I call them alignments. And I don't know where this comes from, but all I know is it's true. I don't think anything in your astrology is ever meant to truly be in any way detrimental to you. You chose it as your toolkit. You chose it to help you. You chose it to live a certain kind of life. So the reasons I'm saying this to you is because there's something here within this model of if you're looking to learn something new, a new skill, to break into a new career, you name it. There is some value in reading a book or listening to a book on tape from somebody that you respect. Watching some YouTube videos. Maybe you enroll in a class. Don't commit to the whole enchilada, okay? Because that breaks your energy open. But as you're doing that activity, whatever it is, notice what comes up in you. That's the Cancerian nature that's right there saying, first of all, you're led to whatever this subject matter is, whatever it may be. This is a general reading, so this is hard to define tightly. Whatever you're led to is purposeful because there's something in you that is tied to that. And therefore, what you can count on is you have ancient wisdom within you that is ready to come forward in this new age, in this Aquarian age. It is time for all of that knowledge to come up in a completely new paradigm from the last time we were at the age of Aquarius. So, all of this wisdom, the reason you're led to things, be led, be interested, but then watch what happens as you start to take in the information that is traditional, that is based on what everybody has thought is true when it comes to one planet being across the sky from another, about planets being retrograde. I'm giving astrology as an example here. Notice if you get feisty. Mars is really good at getting feisty, and that's your planet this week. And believe me, you're staying in your lane the more you do this. And this is the water flowing over you, a swimming race, remember? When you allow yourself to get feisty and to say, I get what you're saying, but I've got a different view on that. And you just watch as that part of you takes over. And really, I'm inviting you, Mars is inviting you, Cancer is inviting you to say, please own that as your truth. Because you've got 7 as your energy this week. Truth seeker. You've got your own truth. So you really need to trust that. You need to bring that forward because it's time. These very ancient parts, this wisdom is ready to come forward. And we're ready to shake up the balance about what has been. And no, I don't do astrology like anybody else I know. And I'm fully confident and competent in it. And you are too, towards whatever you feel called towards. It's calling you because There's wisdom that is ready to come up and out. And it's upgraded wisdom. That's the thing. Like, it's based on something very ancient from your collective past lives, but it's upgraded because this is a new energy scheme that you're living within, not wherever that past life was, whenever, wherever. We don't even need to know all that. It doesn't matter. You're led to things for a reason. So allow that to come forward and just get feisty. Don't give in to the traditional belief, because those are the very things that are getting shaken up the more that people bring this new truth forward. There's a reason you get feisty. There's a reason you believe certain things to be true. So stick with it. That's staying in your lane. That's allowing the water to flow over you. And you're working with the energy that is yours and is ready to come forward. Okay, and so the last piece, I've gone on quite a bit for this for Mars, the Mars reading. The last piece for you is your card from the Animal Medicine deck, and this is by Jamie Sams and David Carson are the authors of this deck. And you have the Crow. And this is number 24, so it's 6 energy, caregiver, nurturer, and the Crow represents law. And this is the specific paragraph that my dowsing wanted to bring forward for you. If Crow medicine appears in your card spread, you must pause and reflect on how you see the laws of Great Spirit in relation to the laws of humanity. Crow medicine signifies a first-hand knowledge of a higher order of right and wrong than that indicated by the laws created in human culture. With Crow medicine, you speak in a powerful voice when addressing issues that for you seem out of harmony, out of balance, out of whack, or unjust. This Crow energy, I know this as sort of the magical energy. It's like the moon. It's a deeper wisdom. It's the deeper law within. And this is everything that I've been talking about for you. Your energy this week is very strong towards this call to believe in what you know to be right. And that's what I think Crow is saying in this paragraph. You have to know what seems out of harmony to you as you feel into new subjects or new ways of going at things. But it feels like, particularly as you're learning new things or considering breaking into a new area of interest or a career or anything like that, yes, there's a place for traditional schooling, but there is an even greater place, I would argue, as Mars loves to do. There's an even greater place for what you intuitively know feels right. It feels like your wisdom that's ready to come forward. Okay, everybody, there you are. That's your reading for this week. If you would like a personalized card reading or a astrology reading, I offer those on bluesky-shop, shoppe.com, or you can sign up to have a one-on-one session with me at my home office in Newport, New Hampshire, and we'll explore the blue sky experience for you. Take care and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye for now.